People say your first late night run sticks with you. Mine never left. I had just turned 18 when I got the job. I didn't even have a full license yet. Just a piece of paper and a promise I wouldn't wreck the rig. Oversized uniform, loner boots, shaking hands, driving an old Ford ambulance with a busted heater and no radio. Just me and the road and whatever waited at the other end. One night, I got a call from the late ambulance driver to pick someone up at a big mansion. Said it was urgent, but off the books. No details, just an address in the hills where the roads got narrower and the houses got richer. The man who climbed beside the stretcher wasn't a doctor. I knew that right away. Black suit, cufflinks, shoes too polished for 2 a.m. His wife was on the gurney. Pale, lips cracked, hair soaking through the pillow. She didn't look like someone who'd made it out of bed by choice. "No sirens," the man said as I shut the back doors. I nodded, because I didn't know what else to do. The roads were empty. I kept my eyes on the yellow lines. In the rear view, the man held her hand like he was afraid she'd slip into vapor. She whispered something, too soft to catch. He leaned close. Then she turned her head, slowly, and looked straight up at the mirror, at me, eyes wide, unblinking, like she saw someone else sitting in my seat. The back entrance to Weldon Sanitarium looked like it hadn't seen daylight in years. Ivy on the bricks, one flickering bulb over the loading dock. I hit the brakes. A nurse stood waiting. She wasn't smiling. Her eyes were glassy, red around the edges. She didn't ask for a name, didn't check vitals, just reached for the stretcher and said, "Quickly." I helped unload her. The man in the suit said nothing, just followed as we wheeled the woman inside. We passed through a short corridor with green tiles and a warped clock on the wall. As the stretcher rolled under it, the second hand twitched, then stopped. For a second, I thought I'd passed out. Everything went black, and then I felt her fingers wrap around my wrist. Cold, stronger than they should have been. After that night, I promised myself I won't take any off-the-book job anymore. I live above my garage now. Nothing fancy. Just a cot, a coffee pot, and an old police scanner I keep running day and night. Habit, I guess. It buzzes and spits static like an old friend clearing its throat. Most nights, I don't even hear it anymore, but I did that night. Unit 3. Possible non-emergency transport. Rural, Old Creek Road. Facility nurse, Miss Andel. I wasn't even on duty. I do contract shifts now. Usually, it's clinics or retirement homes. But that name, Miss Andel, didn't sound like a name from this decade. I called dispatch for clarification. "Sorry, that's just what was written. No callback number." I should have said no. I should have said, "I don't do remote pickups at midnight for people who don't leave numbers." Instead, I grabbed my keys. The rig rumbled to life like it was shaking off a nightmare. I checked the time, 11:46. Plenty of time to pretend nothing was wrong. Old Creek Road wasn't even on my GPS. Just a dirt ribbon between hills and overgrown trees. Barely wide enough for my rig. No streetlights, no markers. Just fog creeping in like it had nowhere better to be. I drove slow. Gravel pinged against the undercarriage. The kind of road that makes you feel like you're being followed even if you're not. Then I saw it. A house, or what used to be one. A woman stood on the porch. Her posture was stiff, like she'd been standing there for hours. The name tag said, Miss Andel, but the plastic was faded yellow, like it had spent decades in a drawer. She didn't wave, just watched me park and step back inside without a word. I killed the engine and sat for a moment. Something about the house felt heavy, like it had been holding its breath for a long time, and now it was exhaling. Inside was no better, wallpaper curling off the walls. Miss Andel walked ahead of me, her heels tapping slow and even on the wood floor. She led me to a small bedroom where an elderly woman lay strapped to a portable stretcher. Thin, pale, a mask covered her face. Tubing connected to a machine that didn't hum. "She's ready," Miss Endell said. "What's the condition?" I asked. "Stable," she replied, "but fragile. Please don't stop on the way." I bent down to check the restraints. Her skin was bruised at the wrists, small purple rings like she'd been gripping the edges of something in her sleep. As I wheeled her out, her hand shot out and grabbed my wrist. Her eyes opened wide. "You brought her," she whispered. "You brought her again." Then her grip softened. Eyes closed. I looked up. Miss Endell was already waiting outside by the rig, smiling like nothing had happened. About 10 minutes out, my GPS chirped and rerouted. No traffic, no detours listed. Just a new purple line across the screen, cutting through roads I didn't recognize. I ignored it. Took the original way back toward town. A few minutes later, the dispatch scanner crackled. "Unit 3, arrival confirmed." It was my voice. From decades ago. From 1970. I gripped the wheel tighter. I reached for the scanner to kill the feed, but the vitals monitor in the back beeped hard. Flatlined. I slammed the brakes. Silence. Then another beep. Back to normal. I glanced over my shoulder. The patient was still lying flat, still breathing under the mask. But the tubing had fog inside and the condensation was building outward, like she was exhaling from the inside out. I turned the radio off. I turned the GPS off. Didn't matter. The reroute line still glowed on the screen. The rig started sputtering just past the underpass off County Line. No surprise. Battery light had been blinking since last week. I eased to a stop beneath the overhang. No cell signal, of course. I popped the hood, grabbed a flashlight, and stepped out into the dark. The wind under the bridge was colder than it should have been. While I checked the battery terminals, something made me stop. 3 scratch marks, long and deliberate, running from the rear tire up toward the side doors. Not fresh, but I'd washed the rig 2 days ago. They weren't there then. I shut the hood and jogged to the back. I unlatched the doors. The stretcher was still there, but she was sitting upright now. Oxygen mask off, eyes open, staring at me. I whispered her name, even though I didn't know it. Nothing. I closed the doors quietly, then climbed into the front seat. The engine turned over on the first try. I didn't question it. I just drove. I didn't take the GPS route. Trusted my gut instead. Still, I ended up somewhere wrong. There used to be a hospital annex out past the old city park. Weldon's original admin wing, I think. It was decommissioned after the merger. Boarded up when Caldwell General bought everything. But as I passed it, I noticed the lights were on. A soft, yellow glow behind papered windows. The front door slightly ajar. No signage, no people. I didn't stop, but the woman in the back started coughing. Harsh and dry, like it came from the bottom of the lungs. I pulled over, slid open the back doors. She was lying flat again, but her lips were cracked open like she'd been whispering something. I leaned in, her eyes fluttered, and she said, "She's still waiting." I pulled into Caldwell General around 1:30 in the morning, parked near the side entrance. I sat there a minute, hands on the wheel, just breathing. Then I stepped out. The cold hit hard, like something didn't want me getting out of the car. I walked around the back, steel-toed boots echoing on the concrete. I opened the doors. The stretcher was empty. The restraints were still buckled. The IV drip still swinging slightly, like someone had just pulled away. I blinked, then leaned in. Nothing. But then I saw it, tucked just beneath the folded blanket at the foot of the stretcher. My ID badge. Not the one I carry now. The old one. From Weldon Sanitarium. My photo, barely faded. I hadn't seen it in 40 years. It shouldn't be here. Taped to the back was a folded piece of paper, yellowed, written in soft, perfect cursive. She remembers. I backed away from the stretcher, heart slamming in my chest. Then I heard it, a sound from behind. A faint cry, then rising, sharp and unbroken. It grew louder and closer. I froze, couldn't move. My breath caught in my throat like it didn't want to leave me. The cry climbed another pitch. I pulled myself together just enough to turn around, and there she was, standing in the middle of the loading dock, lit from below by the ambulance's brake light, skin wrapped tight over bone, barely clinging. Patches of brittle hair hung from her scalp like wet thread. Her hospital gown sagged off one shoulder. Her face, it was wrong. Eyes too wide, mouth open but silent now, like she'd used all her sound reaching me. I didn't wait. I ran, slammed the door shut and floored the gas. Tires screamed, headlights caught her silhouette for one last second, and then she vanished in the rear view. I drove fast, faster than I should have. Then the radio crackled. Unit 3, patient successfully delivered. Thank you for your service. I froze. Then I glanced back. The stretcher was empty. I turned my head back up front. Then I saw something standing in the middle of the road. Head down, gown hanging. I slammed the brakes, tires screaming, but too late. The rig hit. Nothing. No impact. Just cold air. The ambulance lurched, skidding sideways. Glass shattered. Metal screamed. Somewhere mid-spin, I caught one last glimpse of her, standing by the roadside watching me crash. Then everything went black.